The year is 1945, a year that will be remembered for its pivotal moments in history. In Europe, the guns have fallen silent and the streets are filled with celebrations and relief. Germany, crushed by Allied forces, has surrendered, marking the end of a brutal chapter in European history. World War II, a conflict that engulfed the globe, appears to be nearing its end, with nations across continents breathing a sigh of relief. But in the Pacific, a different story unfolds, one of relentless combat and unwavering determination. Japan, the last Axis power standing, fights with the ferocity of a cornered animal, refusing to surrender. The battles rage on, each one a brutal testament to the cost of war, with every inch of land fiercely contested. The Pacific theater was a different kind of war, characterized by its unique and challenging terrain. Jungle battlefields replaced bombed-out cities, creating a new set of challenges for the soldiers. The fighting was savage, hand-to-hand, unforgiving, with soldiers often engaging in close-quarters combat. American forces, island-hopping toward the Japanese mainland, faced fierce resistance at every turn, each island a fortress. Iwo Jima, Okinawa, names etched in blood and fire, symbolizing the intense and costly battles fought. Each victory came at a terrible price, with countless lives lost and immense destruction left in the wake of battle. The island-hopping campaign was a grueling and costly strategy. American forces would capture one island, then use it as a base to attack the next. The Japanese, dug in and determined, fought with a tenacity that shocked the world. They believed surrender was dishonorable, preferring death to captivity. This fanaticism made each battle a horrific struggle. Casualties on both sides were staggering. The battles of Iwo Jima and Okinawa in particular foreshadowed the carnage that an invasion of mainland Japan would bring. American military planners estimated that such an invasion could cost as many as 1 million American lives, and the Japanese people, they feared, would fight to the last man, woman, and child. As the Allies celebrated victory in Europe, the streets were filled with joy and relief. The long and grueling conflict in Europe had finally come to an end. However, the war was not yet over. They turned their attention to ending the war in the Pacific, where fierce battles still raged on. In July 1945, the leaders of the United States, Great Britain, and the Soviet Union met in Potsdam, Germany. This historic meeting was crucial for determining the post-war order and addressing the ongoing conflict with Japan. The Potsdam Declaration, issued from this conference, demanded Japan's unconditional surrender. It was a stern ultimatum, leaving no room for negotiation. The alternative, the Allies warned, was prompt and utter destruction. They made it clear that any further resistance would be met with overwhelming force. But Japan, led by the Emperor Hirohito, refused to yield. The Japanese government was determined to continue the fight despite the dire warnings. The Japanese leadership believed that by prolonging the war, they could negotiate a more favorable peace settlement. They hoped to secure terms that would preserve their nation's honor and autonomy. They miscalculated the resolve of the United States and its allies. The Allied forces were prepared to do whatever it took to bring the war to a swift and decisive end. And they failed to comprehend the terrifying power of the weapon that was about to be unleashed upon them. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki would soon force Japan to face the devastating consequences of their defiance. While the war raged, a secret project unfolded in the deserts of New Mexico. The Manhattan Project, a top-secret undertaking by the United States, had been racing against time to develop the atomic bomb. Scientists, many of them refugees from Nazi Germany, had harnessed the power of the atom. They had created a weapon of unimaginable destructive force. The Trinity test, conducted on July 16, 1945, confirmed the devastating power of the atomic bomb. The explosion, witnessed by a small group of scientists and military officials, vaporized the test tower and left a crater hundreds of feet wide. The world had entered the atomic age. Section 5, Hiroshima, a city vanquished in an instant. On August 6, 1945, a B-29 bomber named Enola Gay took off from Tinian Island, embarking on a mission that would change the course of history. Its payload was Little Boy, an atomic bomb fueled by uranium, a weapon of unprecedented destructive power. The target, Hiroshima, a bustling city of 350,000 people on the southern coast of Japan, known for its vibrant culture and industry. At 8:15 a.m. local time, the bomb detonated above the city center, unleashing a force never before seen by humankind. The explosion, equivalent to 15,000 tons of TNT, obliterated everything within a 2-mile radius, leaving a wasteland in its wake. Buildings vanished in a flash of light and heat, reduced to rubble and ash in an instant. Tens of thousands of people were killed instantly, vaporized or burned beyond recognition, their lives extinguished in a heartbeat. The survivors, many of them horribly injured, wandered through a landscape of unimaginable devastation, searching for loved ones and grappling with the horror of what had just occurred. Hiroshima's story is a somber reminder of the destructive power of nuclear weapons and the enduring impact on humanity. Today, the city stands as a symbol of peace and resilience, a testament to the strength of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable tragedy. Section 6. Nagasaki, a second bomb, a second tragedy. 3 days later, another B-29 boxcar dropped a second atomic bomb on Japan. This time the target was Nagasaki, a port city on the island of Kyushu. Fat Man, a plutonium bomb, exploded with a force of 21,000 tons of TNT. Again, the devastation was catastrophic. Over 70,000 people were killed in Nagasaki. The bomb, detonated over the city's industrial heartland, flattened factories and shipyards. As in Hiroshima, the human toll was immeasurable. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki remain the only use of nuclear weapons in warfare. Section 7. The reasons behind unimaginable choices. The decision to use the atomic bombs remains one of the most controversial in history. President Harry Truman, who authorized the bombings, argued that they were necessary to end the war quickly and save American lives. An invasion of Japan, he believed, would have resulted in a bloodbath for both sides. Others have argued that the bombs were not necessary to end the war, and that Japan was already on the verge of surrender. Some historians believe that the bombings were motivated by a desire to demonstrate American power to the Soviet Union, ushering in the Cold War. Section 8. Surrender and the Dawn of a New Age. On August 15, 1945, 6 days after the bombing of Nagasaki, Emperor Hirohito announced Japan's unconditional surrender. World War II, the deadliest conflict in human history, was finally over. The atomic bombings had ushered in a new era, one defined by the terrifying power of nuclear weapons. The world celebrated the war's end, but the joy was tempered by the sobering reality of the atomic age. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki had demonstrated the horrific consequences of nuclear war. The question now was whether humanity could prevent such a catastrophe from happening again. Section 9. A legacy forged in fire and shadow. The legacy of the atomic bombings is complex and multifaceted. The bombings led to the end of World War II and saved countless lives that would have been lost in an invasion of Japan. But they also ushered in the nuclear age, a period of unprecedented danger for humanity. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki remain a stark reminder of the horrors of war and the devastating power of nuclear weapons. They also serve as a call to action, a reminder that we must work tirelessly to prevent such tragedies from ever happening again. The future of humanity depends on it.